this short video demonstration of our Care Home Live Bed State Capacity Portal. I'm Jonathan Maloney, Programme Director at NHS North of England Commissioning Support, and together with colleagues from NHS England North Region, we have built a web-based tool that enables care homes to quickly and easily share their live bed state with all users of the portal with just a few clicks. The portal is accessible from any PC, iPad, tablet or smartphone with internet access. The portal itself is very easy to access and requires minimal user training. In fact, watching this short video should be sufficient, but a step-by-step user guide is available to download once registered. Users securely log in with email credentials that they get emailed once their request has been approved by someone with approver status in their organisation. It's worth pointing out at this stage that care homes themselves can only see their own data. Other users, however, generally have access to the full system functionality, including reports. The portal has been designed with simplicity and ease of use in mind, and we've made updating bed state a very quick and simple process. Similarly, finding care homes with spare capacity is also a very quick and simple process too. Just before we get started, I'd like to point out that this is the demonstration. This demonstration uses our development website, which uses dummy data and is purely for illustration purposes only. If somebody wants to register for an account, they would go to the web address that I will show at the end of this demonstration, similar to the one in the top of the screen that you can see now, but it would actually be carehomes.nexu.nhs.uk, and if they did, they would click on that link there, register an account. They would type their email address, a1@test.co.uk, put their name in as test user, their contact number 01642 123456, their job title is test title. Now they are typically a standard user as opposed to an approver. Approvers for an organisation need to be pre-registered with the system administrator because they can approve users subsequently in an organisation. Care home types: you either belong to a care home, NHS England or NHS Improvement, a CCG, a commissioning support unit or a local authority at this moment in time. You would then, so for the purposes of setting up a care home or registering for a care home I should say, I would select perhaps Bupa. If I just start typing BU, find all of the care homes. That's my parent organisation. If I select the care home that is, you can see here, the parent organisation is Bupa Care Homes, and then it lists all of the other care homes that belong to Bupa that have been registered in the system so far. This would then, let's say we just pick Airedale. The system knows the postcode because we've pre-populated all of the care homes from NHS digital data downloads, and then we just add that and we register, and it's as simple as that. So what then happens is that goes off to approvers or system administrators as appropriate, and they would get a flag to approve that user for access to the portal. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to log in as a care home. But before I do, it's probably worth mentioning that just like any online banking or online shopping experience, if you forget your password, it is self-service password reset using this link here. So I'm going to log in as a care home and show you how easy it is to set up a care home. I've put my or the system has remembered my password for this particular account. Once I click login, I'm going to be taken very quickly to very clean, simple display. I'm going to go straight into this care homes tile, and the system knows, because I'm already pre-registered, it knows what care home I belong to, so it's presenting me in this case with the Potential Limited at 1 Newlands Drive and that postcode. And I've got 5 hyperlinks that I need to go through to set up my organisation. 4 of them will be just one-off setup, these first 4 here, and the last one is the one that I will use when I'm updating my live bed state, but I will take you through that as we go through the demonstration. The first stage then in the process is to click on Edit, and all I need to do here is to validate the information that is already in the portal. This information has been taken again from NHS digital sources, so it should be correct, but if not, there is an opportunity for the care home to directly amend it as necessary. The postcode is critical because that is information that is used by other stakeholders who are looking for spare capacity. The next step in the process is to validate the classification and the funding fields. Now you'll notice as I hover over any of these fields up here, the cursor is normal, but as soon as I hover over one of the grey fields, it changes to a prohibition sign. And the reason for that is that we don't want the care homes being able to modify some background metadata. So for example, in this case, this care home has been aligned to Wirral Council Local Authority. It's aligned to NHS Wirral CCG, to the North NHS region, it's to the Cheshire and Merseyside NHS sub-region. It's part of the Potential Limited parent organisation. Now as I move down, I can change the ownership just by clicking on the field. In this case I'm going to select local authority owned. As I move further down over CQC rating, I obviously cannot adjust the defined CQC rating. Again, this is a direct feed from the CQC data download. And when the CQC update their website, this portal is updated to reflect the latest information. I then have to select what types of care I provide. It may be just residential, it may just be nursing, or it may be both. Similar process for defining the funding sources that are accepted, whether it's CCG, local authority or private, or indeed all 3. I then add in my CQC report URL, so when somebody is searching for spare capacity and they come across my care home, I can give them the ability to click directly on the CQC latest report for their reading pleasure. And similarly, if they want to find any information out about my wider organisation, then I can include my public URL. I also want to state the initial point of contact, so when somebody finds my care home as having spare capacity, these are the details that are going to pop up in the search results. In this case, the name, phone number and email has been entered. So don't forget, I'm still a care home. I'm logged in as a care home user and I'm setting up my care home. All this section tells me is who else has access to my care home information. Sorry, not information, it's to be able to edit my care home information. Some interesting functionality at the bottom that we've given care homes to be in complete control over is just to be able to display notices to the portal as and when they choose. And you'll see the last one that was issued was on the 19th of June, where the CQC have requested that we suspend our activity at the moment. It's a very simple process to add another note. Let's say, for example, that we wanted to say, please note we do not accept admissions after 5 p.m. Add note, and that then appears in this list. You can see it's dated today, the 4th of July, and over here all of the historical notes can either be edited or deleted. For example, I could just say, oh, we don't have any IPC issues now, I'm going to delete it. Okay, and that's disappeared from my notes. So I just save my care home. That's information done. That's where I went into. That was step 1. Step 2 is to basically edit the. So let's just go back into that for a moment. So basically, once you've completed all of the care home details, the next step in the process is to just move along across this menu bar over here and click the Edit Services. And here is where the care home defines what services and bed types and languages it offers. Here you can see 3 services have been defined already and 3 bed types. But now, because I need to update it, I'm now going to offer dementia services, and I'm also going to offer general nursing bed types. It's simply a case of clicking on and off over the menu option to select or deselect. If I have a member of staff who perhaps speaks Polish, and I want to be able to tell the system that information, you can see it's a very, very quick process to add these different languages. I think we've captured most of the languages in there. Gujarati is in there, for example. If a member of staff who speaks a language actually leaves, so you can now no longer offer that language, then you just deselect it using this cross here, and now you only offer those 3 languages. English is a standard. Now I'm going to save services. You get the positive confirmation. So I've now done step 1, I've done step 2, and now I'm going over to edit costs. Now if you remember these 4 menu options, you'll see when I click on edit costs that the 4 bed types have been copied through. You now set your price per week for each bed type, and because general nursing was the one I've just selected, it's empty, so I need to put a price in for that. Let's say it's $475, and I want to save these costs. I just have a quick glance through and validate that all of the others are still correct. Save these costs. Again, this is all a one-off exercise until you decide to change the information. The next step in the process, 1, 2, 3, 4, is to edit total capacity. Now, this is assuming that the care home is completely empty. What is the maximum capacity that could be offered? And the reason for that will become clear when I show you the reports. Here we've said that we can offer a maximum of 10 nursing beds, 10 dementia nursing, 10 dementia residential. I can now offer 15 general nursing beds and 2 young physically disabled beds. Save those capacities. Now this is the screen that I would go into routinely, this next one, where I tell the system what my current spare capacity is. But if you try and remember these 4 numbers, this is the total, don't forget. This is what I'm saying would be the maximum bed capacity I could offer. 10, 10, 15 and 2. And there's those numbers appear here. 10, 10, 15 and 2. They just remind the user who's editing the spare capacity what the maximum capacity is that they've set on the previous screen. The user can't add a number in these fields that is greater than the maximum for obvious reasons, so it's just to help the user understand what they've previously determined as the maximum. Now this is the screen every day, every week, every fortnight. Ideally as soon as a bed becomes available, the care home would go into this screen and just update the numbers accordingly. I can now offer 5 dementia nursing beds. I can offer only 2 dementia residential. Out of the 15 total, I've only got 2 spare general nursing beds, and I haven't got any YPD beds. Save these spare capacities. Now that's my job done as the care home. I'm basically telling the portal that I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spare beds currently, out of a maximum of 10, 20, 35, 37. So that's the situation that I'm declaring to the portal. What I can do now is log off because my job is done. It takes me back to the login page. Now, if you can imagine you are either an NHS user, a local authority user, a CCG, you want to find spare capacity. So I'm now going to log in for illustration purposes as an NHS user. It's remembered my login because I clicked this the previous time. So I just click login. It's very quick. Now you're presented with a very familiar tile menu, but this time we've got a find capacity option. I'm going to take you through the how to find capacity and also take you through the report functionality too. Something that I think you may find useful is we've added a contact directory. Now the idea behind this is that we put care homes, CCGs, local authorities in contact with each other very quickly. So you're not looking for contact numbers, you're not having to go to websites to find contact details. So for example, if I wanted, I could be a discharged team and I'm looking for Wirral local authority. If I just type Wirral in here, what that's going to do is it's going to pull up all the care homes, all the local authorities and all the CCGs that have Wirral in the title. So for example, I was looking for Wirral Council. I just click on Wirral Council and here it is. I've got all of the I've got the contact email address, I've got the council's phone number, I've got their website hyperlink, and I've got their address if I needed it, together with their postcode. Just to show you how that works again, if I picked something like South Tees, again that would look across all care homes, local authorities and CCGs. In this case you can see that there's only a CCG called something with South Tees in it, but if I click on that, then I get the South Tees CCG contact details, if they have updated their information correctly. So some of the information or a significant amount of the information is automatically pulled in, but things like websites are down to the actual organisation to put in themselves. Just a helpful bit of functionality to connect care homes, local authorities and CCGs in one place. So at any point, I should have mentioned at the beginning, if you click on this home button, not surprisingly it would take you back to the home screen at any point when you're in the portal. So if you get stuck, just look for this home button and it will take you back to this familiar home screen. Let's get straight into it then. What I'm interested in doing is finding capacity. As an NHS provider or a local authority now, a discharge team, I have the option of searching by postcode, local authority or CCG, and if I do change these options, this first field will change as just demonstrated. Go back to postcode because that's what I want to demonstrate to you. If for example I've got a patient being discharged from in this case Cheshire, I would put the Cheshire postcode in, that maybe that's their home address, that we need to find a care home close by. It may be that I'm discharging from let's say Newcastle Foundation Trust, but their relatives are close by in Cheshire, so we'll put the relatives postcode in there and it's going to find spare capacity nearest to that postcode. I have the option of specifying services or looking for specific services. In this case I'll leave it as all. Most likely you're going to want to narrow your search to one of the 5 bed types, but in this case I'll keep it to all bed types. You may want to limit your search to for a particular CQC rating or above. Maybe you're just looking for care homes that have an outstanding rating, or you want no less than a good CQC rating. For the purpose of this demonstration I'll leave it as all. You might want to limit your funding sources. In that case we would just say local authority, and then you would set your maximum price per week that you want to narrow your search criteria by. So let's say for example I put £500 a week, that's all I want to afford. I'm going to just increase all of those funding sources, then find care homes. So very quickly you notice the speed of how fast it found 459 care homes with spare capacity. It's out of a total of 597, and the reason for the difference is there are 597 care homes that that are in the portal. Don't forget this is demonstration information, but the difference between 597 and 459 are the number of care homes that are declaring nil capacity according to these criteria. So you'll notice first of all that we do show the CQC rating for each of the care homes. In these first cases we've got 3 good ones and 1 inadequate one. The second thing you may notice is we start off the closest to that postcode that we were looking for. So we know that there is Fernley, part of the McIntyre Care parent organisation, that has 6 spare beds in total, and it's just 1.5 miles away from that postcode. If I wanted to narrow my search to say general nursing, that 459 I would presume will drop, and it has. It's found 106 care homes with spare capacity that meet the general nursing bed type criteria, and you can see here that Broughton House Residential Home has 4 spare general nursing beds for these for all services, because that's what you searched on. Unfortunately that one requires improvement, so you may not, but you may choose to go down to the next one because it's only another mile away. Greenhays Lodge has 5 general nursing beds and that has a good CQC rating. So let's say for example I am interested in this one. I know that the data was last updated on the 16th of May. What you will find in the live care portal is that data is much more up to date, because as a care home goes in and updates their live bed state, as I showed you previously, that date will get changed accordingly. But you can check at a glance how old the information is. Nonetheless, I am interested in this one. If I just click on this hyperlink here, it tells me a bit more information. It tells me the address of Greenhays Lodge, who I need to contact. I need to contact Susan on that number, so I can strike up a conversation very quickly with Susan Wade, knowing that her general nursing bed price is £700 per week. So you can see immediately how quick and simple it is to not only find capacity but also put the user in contact with the care home, armed with quite a bit of information. I may want to, for example, just tell the system that I've got actually a bigger budget. I may have a conversation with with family members, and I may be able to go to £650 per week. I would expect that number to increase. Not quite sure what to expect with dummy data, but yep, it's gone up by 4 care homes because I've increased my budget by another £150 per week. Green Haze is still there, so it must be further down. Now, if, for example, I might be too busy and I just don't want to, I don't have the time to do anything about it right now, I can click on this button and print off all of this information if I choose to. I can email it to myself, or if I'm having a different conversation, perhaps with some relatives, and I just want to be able to look on a map and see where these care homes are with capacity relative to the postcode that I'm searching around, which is this red star here. So this red star represents this postcode here. Then I can very quickly show that the closest one seems to be over here in Birkenhead relative to this point in Chester. But typically you would just use the list option. So that in essence is how easy it is to search for capacity. And I guess the only other thing I would want to show you is you can just keep scrolling down, bearing in mind there's over 100. You would just keep scrolling if you wanted to find, if I just drag that right down to the bottom, you start to see the furthest one away is 129 miles. It's got some spare capacity, it's got 4 beds, but it's 129 miles away. Potentially not a good choice when there's something so close. So that's how to find spare capacity. The next thing I want to show you is the reports, and the way we've set this up is to in a standard way to be able to compare one variable against another. A popular one, for example, is bed type by let's say by CCG. So very quickly, what it's going to do is it's going to give me the option. These are all of the different variants of the standard template reports. I can limit the search by region, bearing in mind we've only launched this to the North region at the moment. I can limit it by parent organisation, I can limit it by bed type. I obviously want to select the latest month, so I'm going to pick July because that's the month that we're in as we're running this demonstration. But very quickly you can see if I did change any of the calendars, watch the data change very quickly. Takes no time at all to adjust the data according to the search criteria. So what you can see, this is showing by CCG. Here's your list of CCGs. It's showing you the total spare beds. It's showing you the total capacity. Remember when we set the care home up, we asked it for the maximum capacity if it was empty. So what this is saying is that all of the care homes aligned to this CCG are declaring 55 spare beds out of a total of 99, which means they've used 44, which is equivalent to a 44% bed utilisation. It is a crude measure, but it's meant to be an indicative measure only of utilisation. You'll see why when I show you a different analysis. Now, you see these pluses here. All you need to do is to click on one of them and you get the breakdown immediately. So the 55 in this case for Airedale, Wharfdale and Craven is broken down to 37, 18 and 0. And you can click on any of these. If I was Bolton CCG, that's my breakdown of spare beds. So I start to get utilisation by CCG and utilisation by bed type by CCG. I can immediately adjust that. At the moment you can see this is highlighted here to say by CCG and bed type, but I can easily pick by local authority and bed type. And watch how quickly the data changes. So there we have it. It's the same amount of, it's the same data but just cut a different way. We can scroll right to the bottom. I can tell straight away that there are 2,500 spare beds out of a maximum of 5,800, and my overall utilisation is about 56%. If I want to limit that to, let's say, dementia nursing beds, I'll just click on that, and what it's done is it's removed all the other information. So if I open up one of those, it's showing just the dementia nursing beds because I've picked dementia nursing. I'm going to reset that filter so it brings back in all of the data. I can search for, let's say, Middlesbrough, and it quickly narrows the search down to the local authority of interest. So I can chop and change these very, very quickly. I can look at things by sub-region, NHS sub-region, by bed type. So again, if I'm just interested in Cumbria and the North East, there's my bed profile for Cumbria and North East sub-region. I've got 167 general nursing beds out of a total of 320 declared, which means my average utilisation for general nursing beds in Cumbria and the North East is 48%. Sorry, was that 48? Yes, 48%. I can go back if I wish and look at a different month. So it was 48% in July. It was actually 56% in June. So it's very quick to look at data, slice and dice in different ways according to what you're aiming for. The final chart that I wanted to show as part of this demonstration is what we call the utilization chart, and this is really designed to help from a planning point of view, looking by time what's happening in terms of spare capacity and utilization. So for example, you can see here I've set the parameters, or the parameters have defaulted to April through July. So it's obviously looking at financial year to date, and you can see here it's all of the no filters have been set, and it's saying show beds that have been used. So total bed capacity is green. That's the maximum bed capacity that's been declared by all of the care homes in aggregate, being plotted against the used beds. I can quickly flick that to show the spare capacity. Now that's a bit more interesting, because what this is telling me straight away at a glance is that there are about 3,000 or there or thereabouts, 2,500, 3,000 spare beds every single month unoccupied. Now I could, for example, limit that to, let's say, dementia nursing beds, and it would immediately adjust it to just show the how many spare dementia nursing beds there are, and you can see clearly it's around the 700 mark on average. Don't forget, this is just dummy data, so can't really account for this blip because it's meaningless, but it just helps you see what's happening over time. I can quickly just flick that on. Sorry, let me just click on all bed types again and show you what I did there. I reset the filter I clicked on this button here and it shows me what happens over time with all of the bed types displayed. I'll turn that back off. I can add on utilization or just display utilization. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Let me go back. There's the chart. There it is. So utilization. So what this is showing is it's showing the total bed capacity. It's showing the spare bed capacity in the red, and the histograms are plotting the utilization. So we can see on average across all of the beds we've got about a 54, 55% bed utilization. I can change that again if I'm just interested in general nursing. Again, it's about 55%. Not sure if we change anything else. Yeah, slightly different results, but you get the general idea. I can adjust the months. Let's see what happens there. Yep, so I'm just getting a longer period that I can look at. Now this starts to then, if I start to break that down by region and sub-region, I start to get a very different profile by sub-region. So in Cumbria in the northeast, my average is, what would you say, it's probably around about the 50% mark on average. If I went into Cheshire and Merseyside, then a bit more volatile, but it's still around about the late 40s, early 50s sort of average, probably about 50%. So that's the utilization chart. We do have a user guide in the system. If we clicked on that, I won't go into it just for this demonstration, but it's very easy to look up how to do certain things and check all the functionality, because the user guide is full of screenshots. At any point the user can click on this button down at the bottom here and send any feedback about any glitches or any suggestions for improvement of the web portal. And again, not to forget that you can click at any point in time and go back home to the home menu. So that's it. All I need to do now is remember to log off. It takes me back to the login and registration page. I did say at the beginning that I would put up details of where to register, but the only thing for me to say is thank you for watching, and if you do have any questions, then please contact either Ruth Holt at NHS England, on ruth.holt3@nhs.net, or myself, Jonathan Maloney, at nhs.net, and we'll be delighted to respond to any questions you may have. Thank you.